Hello, Internet. I'm back at it with some internet, tech, and gaming news. And today I would like to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and something that I've been enjoying pretty recently as well, too. That's Pokemon. But I'm going to get into the headline first. Let's hop right into it. So, Palworld developer has no idea why Nintendo's suing over its Pokemon-like game. I'm going to do a little bit of explanation in case you aren't caught up to speed on what Palworld is. Earlier this year, it was a game that was dropped, and basically they took everything that was about Pokemon, turned it into a survival game, and they just changed up all the Pokemon designs. They just made little ripoffs here and there, but not infringing on any of the IP in general, I guess. No names were taken. There's some designs that are very similar. Like, for instance, this one is very similar to another Pokemon, but it seemed to all be within the realms of legal. And the game kind of blew up. It was kind of marketed in a way, or kind of talked about as Pokemon with guns, it was kind of cool. I didn't end up playing it. I'm not really big into survival games, so that wasn't something that I was super interested in playing, but it was cool to see, and it's cool that it was made in general, and it's still played a little bit here and then. It doesn't have as quite as much as it did when it really popped off when it released, but it's an interesting game, and it's no surprise to me that Nintendo's suing or trying to sue them. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and it's just kind of a tough spot where they have this amazing franchise and they want to protect it so much that anything that comes anywhere close to it or mentions the name or anything, they will try to take it down. They'll demonetize, they'll send cease and desist, they'll sue, they'll do all these types of things to try to just not have any sort of other company or entity even do anything, even without making that much money or anything. Even ones that don't even make money, if you were making just a little video or something that rubbed them the wrong way, you could get it taken down. And they want to really protect their IP over. It's like an overprotective mother or something and its child, but it just sucks because Pokemon in general recently too has been pretty lame in my opinion. Some people are fine with it, some people like it, but I think there's only been 2 Pokemon games in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years that I was like, this is a cool game and I like it. But the art style, I think, has gotten worse. Gameplay's gotten worse. I haven't really vibed with any of the new Pokemon they've been making. It feels like they're kind of running out of ideas. The 3D aspect and not having sprites, I think they look kind of lifeless, and the art style just doesn't do great. And stuff like Scarlet just was a bad game on launch, and it seems like they're kind of half-assing some stuff and trying to get as much money as they can, but not really making great games. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a boomer and I have old mentality with the nostalgia of the older games, because DS era was my era of games. And games like Palworld that come out that want to be that do stuff that Nintendo won't do. Nintendo's not going to make a game like this, just ever. So why can't someone else make a game like this and have Pokemon be a part of it? If anything, I think the right thing for Nintendo to do would be to work with these guys, give them the licensing to Pokemon and stuff, and let them make the game, because they already kind of do that with other game studios. Why can't they just work together to make a really cool other game that actually uses Pokemon? But yeah, like I said, they already sub-hire other companies to make games. So it's I feel like there could be so much more Pokemon content, so much more Pokemon games that sometimes better. Some of these fan-made things are way better than even the original games. There's ROM hacks and mods and stuff that people do that are just so fun and so cool, but it's so hard for them to exist because Nintendo won't let them. And into the article a little bit. basically the whole thing is the title of the article. They're just saying they don't know why they're being sued. They're saying this thing of that there's patents that are being infringed upon, and they're undisclosed. And this is kind of something that Nintendo has done before, where they don't really have any merit to what they're suing about. They'll just sue to sue, say that they don't have anything, try to find a suit, or like try to scare people in a sense, but it doesn't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times they're just doing it because they kind of feel like they have to. Nintendo's legal department is insanity. It's huge. It's crazy big. So I'm also in this realm of because another hot topic with Nintendo in general too is emulation and ROMs and those kind of things, and they generally hate those as well. They'll take anything like that down when as much as they can. So the fact that there's these older games that are so good that you can't get anymore, like they're not being produced, they're not being released. There's remakes here and there, but since I don't know, like the Pokemon, the Diamond and Pearl remake was not really that well received. I didn't play it because it didn't really look like it added anything to me to warrant to play, besides maybe some like newer Switch features and things. I hate this ad. There's just freaking T-Mobile ads everywhere. I don't want to look at them. I'm gonna go back to full screen. But they're doing remakes, but those aren't even the real games. They're kind of offshoots of the games, and they haven't been done very well recently, at least. And they're not doing them really, I don't know if fast enough is right, but they're not doing them enough and they're not doing them justice. So playing some of the older games, the only way you can really do it is either have the original hardware and you can play it yourself, or you play with emulation and ROMs, which it's this weird like area of it can be legal. It's not legal to distribute. It's not legal to obtain the ROMs, but it doesn't really make sense why. Like, because I like what Nintendo's doing with with some older games. They're re-releasing them, putting them for Nintendo Switch Online for an extra cost, but those are pretty cool, and I'm glad they're doing that. They're not doing it with nearly enough games though, so if there's no access to the games, how are we supposed to play them unless you have them? Or especially in Pokemon game sense, they're hundreds of dollars sometimes. They're at least the price of new games in most of their cases. So and you're not even paying Nintendo. So it's like there's a limited supply of these things. They're only going to go down over time as people collect or hoard them, or they get destroyed somehow. So it's, I don't know. I really like Pokemon. I really like it for nostalgia. I really like some of the things they do. I like the IP in general, but I really don't like the newer games, how they treat their fan base and like fan creation things. So I really wish it was different. I wish that we could coexist with a game like Palworld and Pokemon. Why can't it be Pokemon World? That's kind of my 2 cents and thoughts about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.